So we want to evaluate the arctangent of the tangent of pi fourths. Now, arctangent and tangent are inverse functions and they will cancel each other out as long as our angle is in the correct interval for the range of arctangent. So let's think about arctangent for a minute. We know that it basically says I took the tangent of some angle and I got this answer, what was the angle, but our answers have to be between negative pi halves and pi halves. So as long as my angle is within this range, I'm good to just cancel out the arctangent and tangent. And I know my angle is right here in quadrant 1, so these will cancel, and my final answer is just pi fourths. Let's work both pieces and see why that's the case for sure, or make sure that. We can look inside the parentheses and work that first. The tangent of pi fourths is going to be square root of 2 over 2 over square root of 2 of 2, so that's 1. And then when we take the arctangent of that, what angle on the interval from negative pi halves to pi halves has a tangent of 1, and that is indeed pi fourths. Now as we look at this second example, can I just cross out the arctangent and tangent? And the answer is no, because then I would be taking an arctangent and getting out 3 pi fourths, and that's not in our range for arctangent. We know, as we just mentioned, that that's got to be, these should be open circles. That's got to be from negative pi halves to pi halves. And if we plotted 3 pi fourths, we're over here in quadrant 2. So I can't give 3 pi fourths for a solution to something that had an arctangent. But what I'm going to do instead, since I can't just cancel them, is I'm going to work the stuff inside the parentheses. So what is the tangent of 3 pi fourths? If I'm over here in quadrant 2, we know they match, but one of them's negative, so that's going to be negative 1 when we did the tangent there. And so now what is the arctangent of negative 1? That's asking where within the range from what angle from negative pi halves to pi halves has a tangent value of negative 1. And it's not going to be in quadrant 2, it's got to be down here in quadrant 4 where the tangent is negative. And I also have to give it in the format from negative pi halves to pi halves, so I need to list it as a negative angle, and that's going to be negative pi fourths.